It's finally here, everybody. The next batch of stimulus checks will begin processing today for everyone that is currently missing a $1,400 stimulus check. And this including any of you guys that are on SSI, SSDI, and railroad retirement benefits, as well as those of you that are on VA benefits. Now, if you guys did not get a stimulus check and want to know what's going on with your stimulus payment, then be sure to stay until the end of this video, because in this video, I'm going over the latest information surrounding your third stimulus payment. And remember guys, the whole goal of this channel is to provide you with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check news. I want to see every member of my community receive a $1,400 stimulus payment. Now folks, I personally believe that the IRS must do a much better job of sending out stimulus checks. The great American people need help, and they need help now. If you guys agree with my message, then let's get this video to 1,000 likes. So yes everybody, if you are missing a third stimulus check, it is very likely that you will receive your stimulus money very soon. Earlier this week, the IRS said that it plans to begin processing stimulus checks for those of you that are on Veterans Affairs benefits. However, I know that there are still many of you guys that don't receive VA benefits and still have not gotten your stimulus money. Well everybody, just know this. The IRS is almost done distributing all third stimulus checks to eligible Americans, and it is very likely the next batch of stimulus checks will include anyone who has not received a payment yet but is eligible. The IRS said it is continuing to review files from the VA covering individuals who receive benefits but do not normally file a tax return. The IRS also shared with us that the majority of these payments will be dispersed electronically and should be received on Wednesday, April 14th. And that's next week everybody. So yeah folks, we finally have a payment date for everybody that has not yet gotten a stimulus check. On April 14th, most of you should receive your $1,400 payment. And today is when the IRS will begin processing the checks. And after that, you should begin to see a pending deposit in your bank account. And then on April 14th, that money should be made available to you. This is all really exciting everybody. I can't wait for all of you to finally receive your stimulus money. But I do want to clarify that April 14th is the official payment date from the IRS for those of you that are on Veterans and Veteran Affairs benefits. So sadly, if you don't receive VA benefits, it is not a guarantee that you will get your third stimulus check on the date of April 14th. However, like I said everybody, it is very likely the IRS will also send out all leftover stimulus checks to everyone who has not received their check yet. So folks, just make sure to keep an eye out on your bank accounts and even mailboxes, because remember, stimulus checks are being sent in a variety of different ways. You might get a stimulus check in the mail, as an EIP debit card, or through a direct deposit. If you receive your federal benefits, but if you do receive your federal benefits through a direct express account, you will most likely receive your money through direct deposit. Now I do know that a lot of you guys already begin to see a pending deposit in your bank accounts, and that is super awesome. Now don't worry everybody if you don't see a pending deposit today. It all depends on your bank and how you receive your federal benefits. Direct express accounts usually begins processing stimulus payments pretty quickly. And now I do know that so many of you guys are struggling right now. It is truly disappointing to see how the IRS does not provide exact information on the Get My Payment tool. I even noticed that many of you guys are still seeing a payment status message not available. Now since the IRS has already distributed a third stimulus check to most eligible Americans, you will not have to wait too long. The IRS is still working on getting stimulus payments sent out. You could also be getting a check in the mail, in the form of an EIP card or a paper check. Now how long it takes for you to receive your stimulus check in the mail all depends on where you live everybody. But in most cases, it will take around a week for your check to arrive. The bulk of the payments to the agencies dispersed. Now folks, just know this. The bulk of the payments that the IRS dispersed have been sent electronically via direct deposit. So some Americans are not eligible for direct deposits because the IRS doesn't have their banking information on file. If you don't have your banking info on file for the IRS, you will receive a paper check or debit card, which could take several more weeks to process. And those physical stimulus payments could actually linger into May, especially since the IRS is busy with tax season. Now folks, let's hear from Bernie Sanders and what he said on his Social Security benefits.
Seniors, people with disabilities, and children who are beneficiaries. I know you have heard over and over again that Social Security is going broke, that it won't be there for our kids and grandchildren, that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme, that Social Security is contributing to our large deficit and national debt, etc., etc., etc. And you've also heard many Republicans tell us that we need to cut Social Security, raise the retirement age, or maybe even privatize the program. Well, I am happy to tell you that much of what you've heard is simply not true. Despite what many of my Republican colleagues are saying, let's be clear. Social Security is not going broke. Social Security has a $2.8 trillion surplus and, according to the Social Security Administration, can pay out every benefit owed to every eligible American for the next 19 years. That is not a program going broke. Further, Social Security is independently funded by the payroll tax, the 6.2% of your paycheck that you and your employer pay. That means that Social Security does not add one nickel to the deficit. It has its own source of funding. The wars in Iraq and Afghanistan that the Republicans forgot to pay for added trillions to the deficit and national debt, not Social Security. Now, the truth is that while we do not have a Social Security crisis today, we do have a retirement crisis, and that is a very serious problem. All over this country, millions of Americans, people who have worked their entire lives, are wondering if they will ever be able to retire with any shred of dignity. The sad truth is that, as a result of the collapse of our middle class and declining wages, more than half of older workers between the ages of 55 to 64 have no retirement savings. Imagine that. You're heading to the moment in your life when you're no longer able to work, when you can't earn any income, and you have nothing in the bank. How scary is that? Further, millions of other workers have seen their pensions eliminated or severely cut back. Promises were made to them by their employers, and those promises were not kept. 30 years ago, more than a third of private sector workers had a guaranteed defined benefit pension plan. Today, fewer than 18% do, and that number is shrinking every day. The result is that many of our parents and our grandparents are trying to survive on totally inadequate incomes. Millions of seniors today are trying to make ends meet, buy the medicine they need, buy the food they require, or heat their homes on incomes of $12,000 or $13,000 a year. Frankly, I don't know how they do it. And the truth is that many of them really don't do it. Many of them don't take the medicine that they should. Many of them live in homes that are too cold in the winter. Many of them don't get the nutrition they need in order to stay healthy. That is not how we should treat the seniors of this country, some of the most vulnerable people in the United States. At a time when the average Social Security benefit is just $1,328 a month,